I'm Pastor John McLean of Veteran Rescue Mission here with one of my best pals on this spinning rock that we call planet Earth, Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
it's just always fun to do this. I don't know. I mean, this is like, we're going on, just over 9 months that we've been doing this show. I don't know how many shows that would be, if my math is correct.
36, maybe?
Let's say 36, yeah.
Wow.
36 times that we've stepped in front of this mic and
I know, man.
and knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. And today we have an awesome show with the amazing person from Guild Mortgage named Itzet Rendon.
Itzet Rendon.
Itzet Rendon.
Itzet Rendon.
Itzet Rendon.
There we go.
Ooh,
Nice.
man, I feel fancy whenever I hit it nail right on the head. And then on the second half of the show, and this name I don't know pronounce as well as I will, but I'm going to give it my best bet, and I'm going to try not to butcher it. But he's actually a city councilman of South Tucson and the acting mayor of the city of South Tucson. And his name is Councilman Akanni Oyegbola.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Akanni Oyegbola.
I think, yeah.
I was
about right.
actually, when I went to Iraq,
Spanish, right?
I had a Nigerian guy, a Congo guy, and a guy from Somalia that were in my unit. They all had, his name was Obidiosu Oguchuko. So they all had names that certainly weren't meant for my American tongue, but it was awesome to learn how to say it right. So I look forward to seeing if a Councilman Akanni Oyegbola thinks that I pronounce his name correctly. So that's who we have on this awesome show today on the Common Good Radio Show. But like always, we're going to give the grace to a very loving God that has blessed us so very much and certainly continues to take care of us, and I hope I know he's out there taking care of you. And we'll start out with the Lord's Prayer. And it goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
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 Yeah, man.
So, speaking of it being, the 36th episode,
Probably 37.
past a third of a century that we've gone, man, how many, let's assess, what we've been through in this time. I mean, it feels like it's been such a short time, kind of in the gut of COVID, but I feel like in the same, we've done a lot in this time.
Yeah, man. I was talking today to my friend and colleague Enrique, and we were talking about how when COVID first got started, we were meeting at San Mercado. And we would bring our lawn chairs, we would talk, we would chat it up, and we just stay focused, like, what can we do? What can we do to serve? How can we help other people? I would meet you there too. You would bring your chair. And I met a lot of people there. Honestly, I could think Alex, Kendall, you, Enrique. I mean, I could go on. I probably met at least 12 people there during COVID with my lawn chair that I had to buy. I didn't have a lawn chair, so I had to go buy one. And I would meet people there. People would look at us like, why do they have a lawn chair? Well, I'm like, why don't you have a chair?
Yeah.
And but at that moment, I was serving. I was helping colleges, high schools. I was just focused on service. And little by little, all these amazing opportunities started to come my way. And now more opportunities are coming my way because I was just focused on the service. And I don't know, I guess people noticed it and they said, wow, this guy was just serving just to serve. And so it's been such a blessing, man, that I was allowing fear to take over my life. At times I did have fear, but I think that in order for us to overcome fear, we have to have that courageous person to, face it. And that's how you overcome fear. You are just courageous, even if you're scared.
And I want to thinking of it, you had just quit your job, or you actually quit your job while we were doing the show? When did you stop?
It was was it April or something like that? I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just quit your job like a month or two before we started doing the show.
Yeah.
So that's wild. I mean, and kind of like to do a rundown, you quit your job, you wrote a book, you finished your book rather, but
Mm-hmm.
you published it on ebooks and you published it in physical form. We got it
Yep.
right here in studio.
Yeah.
And you've you've expanded certainly your coaching to like a ginormous amount. It seems like you're even today as you're walking in, you're in the middle of doing a session as you're walking into the place. So that's it's just a kind of a testament to how you're doing. And speaking of a testament of amazing things, we have you say her name because I'm a name butcher. Who do we have?
Itzet Rendon.
Yes, in studio with us, and we're going to be talking about the amazing Guild Mortgage. And you could take off your mask in studio if you want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, if you think it's a cool look, it's all yours.
No, it looks better without the mask. So welcome, Itzet. So grateful to have you here. Really good friends. I've known Itzet for some time. Amazing woman, and she's always got an amazing smile when I see her. A great attitude. I've always told her, like, wow, you just really light up the room when you come in. So grateful to have you here. And so we got started already, but let's get started with you. Tell us a little bit about what is Guild Mortgage?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I've been watching Facebook Lives and at the show. The show, it's for community, and I love that.
Yeah,
thank you.
Because I love what I do, and especially because it's for the community.
Yeah, for sure.
So Guild Mortgage, it's actually a bank. A lot of people think it's a broker, but we're actually lenders.
Okay.
We do mortgage, and that's all we do. Okay. So we are called what a lot of people call us like direct lenders because we don't have the additional guidelines or requirements that the traditional banks ask for.
Okay.
So this is why I moved from that traditional bank that I was at for 10 years to this other company because I'm able to offer more products to my customers.
Nice.
So that's what Guild Mortgage is, and I love it there. I've been there for 6 years. So,
nice. So 16 years.
16 years all
huh?
together. So
Wow.
I've been through the good times, the bad times, and the weird times like right now. Yeah. So very happy to be here.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you.
Cool.
Nice to have you here. Yeah.
Well, we are actually going to run into the break now, but we're going to be back with Itzet.
You know how you can remember my name?
Yes,
and this
please.
is what somebody told me, okay? It's like eating and setting the table. So eat, set.
Itzet.
There you go.
Nice. I love it.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the roll in the R.
Right there.
My Spanish teacher always said just say D. If you can't roll the R, just say D. Put a D there. So,
Oh, there you go.
like
That works.
badito, if you can't roll the R. I can roll the R, so we're good. Badito, I get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
Perfect.
So we're going to be back with Itzet
Perfect.
after this
Boom.
break with Guild Mortgage. I believe in myself. For those out there that do not believe in themselves, I would go ahead and go to ibelieveinmyself.org, right?
Yes.
And contact Andreas because he has a whole bunch of people that he has helped so far, and you could be one of those success stories.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
And we have one of many success stories in the studio here with us. Those at home that broken down phonically, Itzet Rendon.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfecto. Good job.
In studio with us with Guild Mortgage, and I was you're telling us before we went into break how you've been in the business for 16 years in the banking business, and
Yes.
it was kind of the culture of Guild Mortgage that brought you there, or like the different products and services that they're able to provide.
Right.
What got you into mortgage lending in the first place?
Funny story, because when I purchased my first home, obviously I didn't know anything about lending or mortgage or what was needed to qualify. So I just remember wanting this specific home. So we called the realtor, and she showed the home to us. And she said, well, this one is sold, but we can go see another one. I said, okay, well, and then she introduced us to a lender. The lender didn't speak any Spanish. To me, Spanish is my, my preferred language. But this lender didn't know any Spanish. So it was, the communication, it was kind of weird because, I mean, I know English, but mortgage is a different language. It's a different, different language. And it's hard to understand sometimes. So the realtor doesn't know Spanish. The lender doesn't know Spanish. They couldn't explain to me exactly what I was getting into. So when I signed documents, I was so excited. I just wanted to sign and get into my home. I didn't know what I was signing until like 2 or 3, months later, my payment started to go up and more and more and more. And finally, I called the lender. I said, what's going on? And she said, well, you have a variable interest rate. So my payment, it was going to continue increasing. So I asked, well, what do I do? And she said, well, you need to refinance, turn it into a fixed rate. So that led me to do what I'm doing now. I'm trying to explain the process, get people ready for first-time home buyers so I can avoid for them the stressful or the stress times that I went through. So that was my motivation, basically, to help other people, especially I didn't know that there were so many programs for down payment assistance. So that's my specialty. I specialize in down payment assistance. I want to be able to put families into homes with zero money. So that's my goal. So I know everything about what's available right now and what's not. So I'm qualified for this type of programs.
Nice.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. And for people what advice would you give people for those who are interested in their first mortgage loan?
I would definitely advise them to look into the process and what's needed, okay? Because by knowing what you're getting into and get ready for it, especially, it's going to avoid stress times like I went through. So I also teach these classes at like a Primavera Foundation or Chicanos por la Casa when we're able to be in person. We try to educate customers and get them ready for their purchase. So that's one of the many things that I love to do. I love to educate people and let them know exactly what they're getting into.
Do you have anything coming up for like any educational stuff?
Not at the moment because they're still doing everything online.
Okay.
So I wish because I love doing these classes, but not at the moment.
Okay. And during these times, like how has COVID affected your company?
You know what? I know a lot of people went through hard times. For us, it was like the busiest time. The past year has been the busiest of my entire career.
What would you account that to?
Pardon me?
What would you account that to?
The interest rates. They were so low. A lot of people wanted to take advantage of the interest rates. Obviously, interest rate, if it's low, your payment is going to be low. So a lot of people were either refinancing or purchasing a home. So we were really, really, really busy. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
We were
blessed. And how did you guys adjust to that?
To being, we can work remotely from, anywhere. So we had computers even before everything started. So it was an easy transition, to be honest with you. So I just in my bedroom, that's where my office is. I have my desk, I have my laptop, my 3 computers, monitors. So I can be just when I'm at the office. But it's been, interesting because obviously when you're in person, face to face, you're able to explain better. So that was a little difficult doing it over the phone with customers. But technology, you can take pictures for documents, you can scan them, fax them. I mean, there's no excuse nowadays to send or receive any type of documentation. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
how can people get in contact with you guys if they want to get a mortgage or if they're interested in some of the other services you guys provide?
Well, I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number, which you can contact me via text, phone call, or even WhatsApp. That's 520-850-9228. I also have a Facebook account for my business, and that'll be my full name, which is Itzet Rendon, Rendon. You can find me there. You can ask me questions, because a lot of people ask me questions through Facebook, which is amazing.
Nice.
And I have a website as well. So that's www.itzetrendon.com.
Man, you got it set, huh?
Yeah, I'm all
Okay,
set, I'm
yeah, we know
telling
how
you.
to find Itzet Rendon,
Yes, yes.
That's pretty cool.
You know, I want to ask you, in regards to like the refinancing and also like the first time buyers, what advice would you give people? Like, is this a good time, like it was during COVID, to get in there, like refinancing and stuff like that?
Okay, so it just depends. First of all, to do a refinance, it has to have a benefit, okay? Benefit will be an interest rate reduction to lower your payment. It can be a term reduction to, finish paying your loans sooner. Or if you want to consolidate, accounts and pay them off, that's another benefit. So it's always good to check, first of all, what your interest rate is right now. If it's 4, 5, 6, 7, I had a customer who has a 10% interest rate.
Wow.
I'm like, yes, definitely a good time to refinance. So it just depends on the situation for each customer. And there's been times where I tell them, it's not a benefit. I cannot do it. So it has to have a benefit. And I'm always going to be honest. I know a lot of people say no, but I want to do it. If it doesn't have a benefit, I can't do it.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being
A lot of great
with us.
information.
Yeah, I would love to come back anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And if I'm going to brush up on my Spanish, I can be on your radio show.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there we
Yes,
go.
please. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here in
thank
studio
you.
with us.
Yeah.
That's Itzet Rendon. Go to itzetrendon.com, or also check out Guild Mortgage. I'm sure they have some cool stuff to find out about them.
Yeah.
This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Andreas Ruiz, still believing in himself.
Yes.
And still teaching us to believe in ourselves.
Absolutely.
Man, that sounds tiresome. How do you do it?
Oh man, it's just meditation, journaling, working out,
Okay.
drinking your green juice.
Yeah, and then as your book says, the Morning Warrior Secrets
Absolutely.
as well.
Morning Warrior Secrets, man.
you absolutely need them.
Get your copy on Amazon if you want to get your paperback or your ebook.
Yeah,
Go to Amazon.
an
Andres
easy
Ruiz.
read, a good read. I mean, I've heard people they finish at the end of the day and feel
The
rejuvenated.
first day they got it,
Yeah.
and I tell you, chapters are about 1 to 2 pages long. It's a toilet book. You can sit on the toilet and just read it. It's all good.
I don't know if toilet book's the appropriate word for it, but
Very true,
it's
very
good. It's
true.
a good bathroom read.
It's a good bathroom break.
Yeah,
I like
for
that.
sure, for sure. But I'm excited because
Absolutely. Yeah, me too,
we
man.
have a lot of powerhouses in the studio, especially you. You're really good at getting powerhouse in the studio. But this next guest, I wanted to think easily that one of the most persistent people on the planet, someone who really cares about what he does. He actually reached out to us to be on the show. So this, I mean, this guy is serious. He cares about what he does.
That is awesome.
And believe it or not, he's actually the acting mayor of the city of South Tucson. Can you believe that? Yeah.
Nice.
So I want to proud to have on the Councilman Akanni, and he told me how to pronounce his last name appropriately, Oyegbola.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here with us.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Like your energy just lights up this room.
Yeah,
So
man.
I feel
I feel
brighter
it too.
already. We throw my shades on real quick. What do we got here? All right.
There we
All
go.
right, Mr. Mayor. All right, I'm ready now. So tell us, how would you explain? I mean, I know we were talking about it off air, the city of South Tucson, how special it is, and just like it's a different type of place, but it is in the same so special. What is the city of South Tucson? Explain to someone who doesn't know or has never been to the city before.
Wow, that's a good question. I would say South Tucson is filled with very prideful, very special people, very diverse. It's predominantly Hispanic, but we also have a large population of tribal members from Pasquayaki to Hodo Odom. You have your white population, Black, African, Caribbean. So from the history, of course, I moved to South Tucson, but from the history I've gotten, it's always been diverse. So, yeah.
And just, I mean, particularly for those who have never heard of the city of South Tucson, like, what is it? Like, I know I've heard that it's like a square mile big, and it's just like, it is like a relatively small little place. Like, what's going on with that place?
Yes, it is. It's 1.2 square miles. The city of South Tucson starts at 25th and a half Street. So when you're coming down South 6, usually people think city of South Tucson starts at 22nd Street. So once you hit 25th and a half, you're entering into the city of South Tucson, and then it goes all the way south into the bridge. So everyone knows South Tucson because you're going to go city of South Tucson, then you're on the southern border of Tucson. So you're going to go about a mile down, you'll be in the Fairgrounds neighborhood. So collectively, the south side of Tucson starts at the southern boundary of the city of South Tucson.
Interesting. And I guess, I mean, especially the special city, you know, what inspired you to serve the city of South Tucson? And I guess, you know, what inspired you to serve as the origin story and even before that?
That's another good question. I think when someone asks me that question, I think the people chose me, to be honest. I came to the city of South Tucson as an intern, and I was interning for the police chief, the city manager, and in the courts. So I was there 3 to 4 days a week, and my actual title was community liaison.
Nice.
So the question that you asked earlier was pretty much on point because I didn't know anything about South Tucson either. I got to know it by going throughout the community and speaking to residents on behalf of my internship. So I would go door to door. At that time, it was about 4 years ago. I just started. So I was talking to residents. It was an issue with a lot of mosquitoes and bees at the time. So I was talking to them. I was talking to the business owners, which is a lot of restaurants in South Tucson. So that's what a lot of people come to South Tucson for. But I was talking to residents and just letting them know how it could help. I was working a lot with Pima County and the health department and seeing how we would help the residents. And actually, from that point on, they would call me at City Hall for any other issues that they have. And to the point that it came, residents were saying, you know what, why don't you run for council? And to be honest, my next question was, South Tucson, this city has so much potential. Has there ever been a black person on the council before? And they were like, no. Well, we believe in what you're doing. So that was huge to me because I was like, well, they're definitely looking for change with that statement. And by the time the election came around, I mean, I had so much support from the residents. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So that actually drives me to do so much more because, like I said, when I first started, it felt like they chose me versus me coming in trying to run for office. It came organically from the residents, from me helping them.
Yeah.
That's like you build that relationship with them and they that no trust like factor. And you said potential. What do you feel is something that is needed for South Tucson to reach that full potential?
I think for South Tucson to reach its full potential, you hit it key with word relationships. We're gonna strengthen more relationship, but also economic development.
Okay.
I think South Tucson has been passed over a little bit for some of the opportunities. And this is no shot at any other place, but there's so much development happening all around the city. So I think it's almost South Tucson's turn now. A lot of people are looking at the city and saying, okay, I definitely want to invest. I want to do things where before, it was other places within the city of Tucson or within the region that people tend to, want to do economic development with they come to South Tucson, but definitely a lot to patronize the restaurants. And it's a thoroughfare, so you see a lot of people drive through.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Particularly like 5 Points is that there in South
Absolutely.
Tucson. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So we are in studio with the acting mayor of the city of South Tucson, and we're feeling good.
Oh yeah,
Right.
man.
I know you
James
are.
Brown, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like after the show, you and Councilman Oyegbola are gonna go grab
man, we're gonna
lunch.
grab
'cause
some
you guys are
lemonade or
just
something,
like-
man. Yeah, absolutely.
just, like, just
Lemonade sounds
bonding.
good right
Just
now,
like,
man.
I'm getting jealous over here. It's like a bromance is happening, and I'm not part of it. Guys, I want to be friends too.
We got to bring you to Pico de Gallo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, let's
hey,
get it
don't tell
going.
people- Man, my wife, she can make some people.
Ain't
Let
no
me
party
get
like a
into
South Tucson party,
it.
right?
Man, I'm telling you,
I
man,
know.
we can cook.
I know.
Tell you.
So again, thank you for being here with us, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor. Man, this is exciting. I certainly, we're I think long past due talking about the awesomeness that is the city of South Tucson. And I mean, I was telling you during the break, looking at your bio and the workforce development stuff that you're doing, that you're part of. It's exciting to see you bring that to the city of South Tucson, because I agree with you. The city of South Tucson, that's one of the things that makes it special, is it's like it can be more than just a place for people to patron the good restaurants, the authentic Mexican restaurants, and to pass through. But there could be some serious development. That's, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's almost like a natural next development point now that they've developed so much in downtown Tucson. Like, it's
Absolutely.
just south of downtown Tucson, so why not work on that part next?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but a question I was just wondering, like, I mean, and you pointed it out, it's amazing. The first black man to ever serve on the council in the city of South Tucson, the first black man to ever run for mayor in the city of Tucson. So I'm proud to be here with you, and I'm certainly I'm excited to find out. So what is your leadership style? Like you already mentioned, you met with the community, and they're like, hey, we want you in here to show kind of like, one, which is proud to hear, the city of South Tucson embraces the black community. They want, that influence. What was it about your leadership style that really, caught people?
I think just being able to be, like you said, just be myself. Being a student, just listening was one of the key areas I felt when I went door to door to talk to the residents. Really understand the problems, what was going on, and being there, giving them my number. When they called at City Hall, I picked up, and when they emailed me, I responded back. I came to their door if there was an issue. I think you touched on it earlier. I think that a lot of the residents felt comfortable. They knew I would follow up if there was some type of issue or anything. A lot of community events, just letting them know that I am here to stay. And I think one thing that I learned from moving here from Washington, D.C., at one point when I moved from D.C. to Maryland, or I'm originally from Nigeria. So one thing I do learn is that when you go to new places, it's a different culture everywhere. So my first step into the city of South Tucson is to respect the culture there, to understand what the people want and what they don't want, and then move from there. So I think that was big too, because I think they trusted me in that sense. When you go from my neighborhood in Washington, D.C. to my neighborhood in Prince George's County, Maryland, two totally different cultures. You got to respect both differently. So the same thing for South Tucson that I bring here. I gave back a lot in D.C. and in Maryland, and I did the same thing here. So when I speak to the residents, it's how can I help? I'm not going to try to come and take over, but how can I help? How can we do this? And I think that was the biggest point when I got through to some of the residents.
Man, that's great.
Awesome.
The communication, the listening, the know, trust, like factor. It sounds like you really got it down. And man, listening and communication is just like a lost art, man. And I'm glad that you've been able to communicate. And I want to ask you, like, during these COVID times, how has it affected your community, and how have you been keeping that relationship, that connection with the people?
Absolutely. That's another good question.
Yeah, he's good at them.
I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I think we partner with an organization out of, first and foremost, Pima County Health Department. We're working with Pima County, Chuck Huckleberry, his staff. District 2, working with Matt Hines, his staff. Shaq McCoy. There's so many awesome people in District 2, the Board of Supervisors, working with Adelita Grahava, working with their office. So, but for the city of South Tucson, our first thing was doing research, seeing what the governor and the state of Arizona had as far as the data and what we are doing for our area. So our key position is to work regionally. And what was key for us, working directly with Pima County, working with the Board of Supervisors. And we brought in other foundations like the Equity Foundation, and they work with us. So getting to know the residents, like we stated earlier, going door to door was key for me, was key for our administration, was key for the council, was key to having it at City Hall, and then taking it to the residents. So for the residents that don't come out and meet us at City Hall, we have a large elderly population, very disadvantaged community, as everyone knows. So a lot of times they don't come out too much. But when we got to them and a lot of them could not come to City Hall, we went door to door. Offering that service. And we're planning the second one. We've done at City Hall, but we're planning on doing another event a little bit closer to the residents, letting them know we didn't forget them. We're constantly looking at innovative ways to reach them and touch them, just giving them that personal touch. That's more my style.
Nice. So which is, I mean, it's amazing that you state that. Definitely, I wanted to mention that before, particularly a big thing that's complained about with most politicians of any sort is they're not accessible. So to hear that you're accessible, that's beautiful. That's amazing. And like, a question I was wondering is, like, almost a year later after, or more than a year later now after we found out of COVID-19 and it stated as a pandemic, what is your community of South Tucson look like now comparison to before COVID and times of in the old world, as they were calling it? Got you. Yeah.
Okay. Pre-COVID, like we discussed earlier, everybody's coming to South Tucson. We were actually at the point where we were building more relationships. We just signed our agreement with Puerto Penasco. We're working with Rocky Point, where we're doing our sister city agreement. We were working on our restaurant tour. As you know, restaurants are huge for South Tucson, just business in general, but the retail sales are what keeps us where we are. So we're so thankful to the residents and the business, first and foremost. But before COVID, I mean, we had all our restaurants were doing excellent. Pico de Gallo. We brought in Santa Rosa Cafe, El Torero, Micha's, Crossroads. So many great, authentic, like you touched on, Mexican restaurants that people constantly come for that great food. Minidito, So Double L. And excuse me if I don't remember, but
you're just thinking about I had lunch on Monday and Tuesday.
Absolutely.
I'm getting hungry right now.
And you know what? I'm sorry to go off course, but I get this question a lot, and it's like, okay, which one is your favorite? And I say, I can't answer that directly because it's a little bit of something from each restaurant that I like the most. Like, I can go to Pico de Gallo for tacos, or I'm gonna go and get Jamaica. I'll go to Cafe Santa Rosa for their potato salad and their birria and things for that.
Man, forget about it.
And I mean, I could go all day. I'll go to El Torero for the fish tacos. I mean,
you're killing me.
It's just everything is great. Everything is great. I'm a foodie, so I can tell you the little details of what I like.
So pretty much like what you're saying, like those things were bustling before COVID, but
Absolutely.
So were there any that were like shut down, or kind of was there a part of business in South Tucson that got annexed, like we're seeing in other places because of COVID?
Yes, after COVID, definitely. Which I didn't touch on, which that's a great question. Rigos is one who we lost.
Oh man,
which is unfortunate. But we also have put in some work, and we've got a surprise coming.
Nice. I love surprises.
I don't want to. I don't want to touch on it too much, but we definitely have a surprise coming for
the breaking news on the Good Radio Show.
We got that. Yeah, COVID hit us pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Retail sales is key for our city. It's vital.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's our vital line at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, most of our businesses went down by half in that same time period. This year from last year when COVID hit, we're looking at the revenue and we're like, wow, it really devastated us. We're thankful for.
Well, we've got about a minute,
left,
before we
sure.
have to cut out.
Okay.
But tell us what are some of the ideas of how to to return to the new normal.
Biggest ideas is continue to work regionally.
Okay.
Continue to work with our partners. Continue to work with Matt Hines. Congressman Gerhava has been amazing. Continue to work with Senator Gabardon at the legislature. When things happen that can assist us at the city. We're 1.2 square miles. So any federal, any state, any type of regional support is coming from Pasquayaki to Hodo Odom because they support us so much with a lot of the grants that we get. Our regional partners are key as well. And that's me all in a nutshell as far as being a person on the council. How can I help my residents? It's not only just going to help them directly door to door, but also reaching out for regionally for our partners and seeing how I can help them. So it's a regional support.
Nice.
From the city of South Tucson to the city of Tucson to Pima County to the state, federal. It all helps the residents of the city of South Tucson.
Beautiful. Well,
Nice.
thank you so much
Beautiful,
for coming on with us.
Man, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Pico the guy on me, Santa Rosa Cafe.
Yeah, come and get it.
Whichever you like.
Yeah, that's